Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX. We cover the real news that matter to we the people. It's not just the Clintons. Epstein has questionable ties with former Israeli Prime Minister EHUD, BARAK, and the WEXNER Foundation. The Gateway Pundit reports that sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in 2014 bankrolled a large investment in high-tech for EHUD BARAK, the former Israeli Prime Minister, who is again running for office, Haaretz reported. The report Friday follows several revelations of financial ties between Epstein, a billionaire who was convicted in 2008 in the United States of soliciting a teenage girl for prostitution, and BARAK, whose campaign ahead of Israel's general election on September 17th focuses on fighting corruption. Epstein financed much of an investment of several $1 million formerly made by BARAK in the company reporting Homeland Security, according to Haaretz. It's now called Carbine. It develops call handling and identification capabilities for emergency response services. Quote, I saw the business opportunity and registered a partnership in my control in Israel. A small number of people I know invest in it, BARAK said in the statement to Haaretz. Since these are private investments, it wouldn't be proper or right for me to expose the investors' details. But that wasn't even the half of it. In addition to his financial ties with Epstein, the former Israeli Prime Minister also was pictured visiting Epstein's apartment with bodyguards at his side. A post at the Daily Mail in January 2016 showed a number of young, beautiful women entering and exiting Epstein's place in New York City. At the end of the post, an unidentified man was seen entering Epstein's place with what appeared to be his own personal bodyguard. That man has now been identified as former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. A further review of Ehud Barak's ties with Epstein is startling. Zero Hedge reported that Epstein's former house manager, Alfredo Rodriguez, smuggled Epstein's little black address book out of his home. Rodriguez described the address book as the holy grail or golden nuggets to unraveling Epstein's sprawling child sex network. Ehud Barak's name was 8th on the list. The WEXNER Foundation. An internet sleuth provided us some additional questionable ties related to Epstein and Barak. For the past 15 years, there are numerous entities operating in both Ohio and New York related to the WEXNER Foundation. The ties to Epstein seem to be limited to early years and fairly straightforward. For tax years 2001 through 2006, the tax returns for the foundation list Jeffrey Epstein as a trustee and the person with whom the corporate books are in the possession of, at the same address of the foundation in Ohio. Additionally, for 2001, the WEXNER Foundation only received one contribution of $9,588,560 that are contributed. That contribution came from an entity named Arts Interest Trust, with an address of CO Jeffrey Epstein in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. In all other years of 2002 through 2015, the vast majority, if not all, of the WEXNER Foundation revenue came from contributions from an entity named the Leslie H. Wexner Charitable Fund. For years of 2001-2005, Epstein was listed as a trustee of this organization as well. In 2006, this entity changed its name to the Wexner Family Charitable Fund. Another interesting discovery is that the Wexner Foundation paid consulting fees to Ehud Barak of $1 million in 2004 and $800,000 in 2006. In 2005, the Leslie H. Wexner Charitable Fund paid Ehud Barak $505,000 in consulting fees. Per further analysis, the tax returns of the Wexner Foundation, one, the salaries paid by the entity seem very high given the revenues, expenses, and activity of the entity. And two, most of the grants paid to other organizations have been to educational institutions, with a very substantial portion, roughly 50%, paid to Harvard. Three, travel expenses seem extremely high for this organization. Some years, travel expenses exceed their grants given. 4, some other expenses in multiple years seem odd examples, parsonages and honoria. And 5, rent expense seem very high in multiple years. One other thing of interest is that while the annual filing of the Wexner Foundation with the New York Charity Bureau are listed for all years 1999 through 2017, the links for years prior to 2006 are no longer clickable, and therefore the documents cannot be downloaded from that site. However, the 990 returns are viewable and downloadable from ProPublica for 2001 to 2015. BARAK must be feeling the heat because he reportedly just released a statement on Facebook addressing his ties with Epstein. Epstein ties to famous political and entertainment elites are staggering. Many of Epstein's accomplices are known players. Players are no doubt currently shaking in their boots. A former prime minister of Israel is one of them. So let me know what you think of this report. What do you think other powerful people, who are some of the more powerful people you think is going to come out by the end of this thing? Leave your comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest news. Till next time. We live in a really nightmare. We live in a really nightmare.